Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. Welcome to ID Talk TV. In this video, I'll be bringing you up to speed with the latest happening in football. We'll be looking at the latest on Alejandro Garnacho, Xavi Simon, Christopher Nkunku, and there is a talk of war between Newcastle United and Alexander Isak. Stay tuned as I take you through the latest happening. Okay, take a look at the latest coming from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea are advancing in club-to-club talks for Alejandro Garnacho. Deal underway with Manchester United. Excellent relationship between United CEO Barreda and Chelsea hierarchy. Garnacho only won Chelsea Football Club and turned down an approach from Bayern Munich in last 48 hours. No chance. Interesting. Chelsea are advancing in talk for Alejandro Garnacho. And there is a good relationship between Barreda and Chelsea hierarchy, talking about Manchester United. And in the last 48 hours, Alejandro Garnacho have turned down offer from Bayern Munich. In his word, he said no chance. His priority has always been a move to Chelsea, and he's keen on moving to Chelsea. In fact, Alejandro Garnacho is desperately wants a move to Chelsea. So let's see how the news is coming out. Check this from Mike Keegan. Manchester United will not accept a deal worth less than £50 million for Garnacho. They feel he is at least equal to Madueke and that he starts line up with Jimmy Gittins. This is quite funny. Anyway, it's football. Anything goes in the transfer market. Now, Manchester United are trying to use Madueke's transfer to Arsenal. Valuation of Madueke as a benchmark for Alejandro Garnacho. I will give my humble opinion here. The situation is quite different. In the case of Noni Madueke, Arsenal came knocking at Chelsea that they are interested in Noni Madueke, and Chelsea gave them their valuation. And at the end, both clubs reached an agreement. Madueke was sold to Arsenal for £48 million plus £4 million add-on fee. But in the case of Alejandro Garnacho, before Manchester United went to the United States of America for their preseason summer tour, Manchester United manager, talking about Ruben Amorim, excluded Alejandro Garnacho, Jadon Sancho, and Anthony from the squad. And he categorically stated that the three players are for sale. So, in the situation of Garnacho, you can now see that it is Manchester United that wants to sell Alejandro Garnacho, and not Chelsea that actually went for Garnacho. So, having gotten to that situation, Chelsea found interest in Garnacho and they want to buy. So, the situation of Manchester United trying to equate Alejandro Garnacho to Madueke, using Madueke's valuation as a benchmark for Garnacho, doesn't play out here. And I think at the end of this, if I just look into the crystal ball, Manchester United might just be the one to lose here at the end. Because in one of his reports, Alejandro Garnacho have actually said, it is Chelsea or no move. Else he will remain here for the next 6 months to 1 year, just collecting his wages. And that is just the situation that might play out. Okay, let's move on. Check out the report that comes in from Fabrizio Romano. A deal for Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea is close, with expectation for a year we go soon. Despite the back and forth between both clubs in the price valuation of Alejandro Garnacho, Fabrizio Romano have just reported that a deal is close for Alejandro Garnacho. So let's see how this is going to play out in the coming days. And Ben Jacobs went on to say, take a look at what Ben Jacobs said in midst of all of this. Alejandro Garnacho turned down an approach from Bayern Munich today as he waits for Chelsea. Garnacho has already agreed terms with Chelsea Football Club. Manchester United Football Club insisting on £50 million, citing Noni Madueke's £48 million plus £4 million add-ons moved to Arsenal as the valuation yardstick. Chelsea still trying for less, knowing Manchester United wants to sell. Exactly the point I was explaining, and Ben Jacob has just broken it down. It's Manchester United that wants to sell. And that was where Chelsea actually found interest to go for Garnacho. Believe me, I might not know the tactical approach of Enzo Maresca, but I can tell you categorically for a fact that across the attack line of Chelsea have players that can play across both wings. Pedro Neto that plays on the right can also play from the left wing. William Estaval that plays on the right can also play on the left wing. And a couple of players, Tariq George is there. So, in that situation, like Ben Jacobs have put it right, it is Manchester United that wanted to sell. And what have just happened, Alejandro Garnacho is actually putting them on a tight corner because he has actually turned down other offers. He said he only wants Chelsea. And that simply means Manchester United will play to the bidding of Chelsea except they don't want Garnacho to leave by the end of the transfer window. So we're going to see how this will play out in the coming days. What do you make of the Alejandro Garnacho's situation at Manchester United? Drop your comments down below. Let the conversation continue from there. Okay, let's take a look at the latest that is coming in for Xavi Simons. Check this out from Matt Law. Chelsea have already set up a deal with RB Liebzig for Xavi Simons. It has always been the same old story. Chelsea have been in the Xavi Simons situation for a very long time. Chelsea actually wants Xavi Simons, and Xavi Simons is keen for a move to Chelsea. And by the way, it has been reported a couple of weeks ago that he has been forcing a move to Chelsea. But there is a condition for Chelsea to actually get Xavi Simons, even also Alejandro Garnacho. Chelsea have to offload Nicolas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku. So let's see how this is going to play out. Check the report from Matt Law also. Chelsea want to move on Nkunku and Jackson first. This is reported by Matt Law from The Telegraph. And that is just the situation. Chelsea have always have a deal in place for Xavi Simons. But all they're interested in first is to see how they will move out Nicolas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku. And like I do say in my previous video, and I'm still going to say it here again, should Chelsea offload Nicolas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku today, in the next 48 hours, it will be a year we go for Xavi Simons, and the deal will be sealed immediately. So let's see how this will play out in the coming days. But let's check out the latest that is coming from Florian Plettenberg of Sky Sport. In the past 24 hours and following the temporary failed transfer of Nick Waltermud, an internal plan has been made. Max Ebel is to focus on the loan deal with deadline day. A move for Christopher Nkunku is therefore currently very difficult to realize despite the agreement Bayern Munich and Nkunku have reached on personal terms. As Chelsea Football Club have once again made it clear, only permanent deal. All parties are frustrated. Nkunku, Ebel, Freud and company. As reported on our show tonight, RB Liebzig are still in the race. Talks with Chelsea were never broken off. More teams are keen on him, not only Liebzig. It has actually been a back and forth between Chelsea and Bayern Munich for the signature of Christopher Nkunku. Bayern Munich were keen on having Christopher Nkunku, but now as it stands, it looks like the deal has collapsed as agreements cannot be reached between both parties. Chelsea insists on a permanent deal for Christopher Nkunku, and all Bayern Munich have wanted for the player is a loan move. And Chelsea stood their ground and still standing on what they actually want: a permanent deal or no move. And that is the situation currently for Bayern Munich. The deal is off, but there have always been a conversation between Chelsea and RB Leipzig, where Christopher Nkunku once played before. The talk between both clubs never actually collapsed, and RB Leipzig and other clubs are still in the race to sign Christopher Nkunku. So we are going to see how this play out in the coming days. But first, check the report that is coming from David Winston. RB Leipzig stepping up talks with Chelsea over deal to sign Christopher Nkunku. Direct contact between clubs on permanent move for 27-year-old Chelsea forward. Not close yet. Still other option, but France international open to return. This is coming from David Houston. So there is a direct contact between both clubs. So far, no agreement has been reached, but it is reported that Christopher Nkunku is open to a return for RB Leipzig. So let's see how this play out in the coming days. What do you make of the situation of Christopher Nkunku? Drop your comment down below. Let the conversation continue from there. Now let's switch over to St. James's Park. There have been a talk of war between Alexander Isak and Newcastle Football Club. Now, check this out as coming from Fabrizio Romano. Breaking: Alexander Isak released a statement. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. I am proud to be recognized by the fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 2024-2025. By the way, let me take a break there. Last night, the PFA award actually took place, and various participants were actually awarded with their respective honor. And the big night was actually meant for talking about the Liverpool superstar, Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah actually won the Men Player of the Year award. And also, PFA went on to release the team of the year. In goal was Matt Sells of Nottingham Forest. At the centre back, it was Virgil van Dijk and William Saliba. The left back was Melos Kekes, and the right back, they actually went for Gabriel Magalhaes. In the midfield, it was Ryan Gravenberch of Liverpool. The centre was Alexis McAllister of Liverpool and Declan Rice of Arsenal. The forwards were Mohamed Salah of Liverpool Football Club, Alexander Isak of Newcastle United, and Chris Wood of Brentford. That was the PFA 11 of the year. Do you agree with the selection of the PFA 11 of the year? Drop it down below in the comment section. Okay, let's move on the stories. Our statement released by Alexander Isak. I am proud to be recognized by the fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 2024-2025. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way. I am not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it doesn't feel right to be there. I have kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if those issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself. Wow. This is coming from Alexander Isak. He posted this on his social media handle, and definitely Newcastle United have a reply for him. But if we look at the statement of Alexander Isak, in my opinion, there are certain mistakes most players do make. This is my candid opinion on this situation. He said promises were broken, which means there was an agreement. Alexander Isak is not a kid, he's an adult. If he have a written agreement or a video agreement where this agreement was reached, then he has a case. But if he doesn't have any proof of all of this he's saying, I don't think Alexander Isak have a case, because right now he's tied down to a contract at Newcastle United. He signed a 6 years contract and he has only spent 3 years there. He still has 3 years left in his contract. But the approach and the way in which he's actually going about this, to me, if he's actually playing a script, I feel the movie director writing this script for him is actually making a mistake, because they are approaching this the wrong way. Now, if this is a script and he actually wants a move, because that is what all the statements summarize, because at the end of the statement, you hear him say the best interest is for everyone to just move on. Now, for Alexander Isak to have actually come up with this statement at this point in time, definitely shows unseriousness on his part. Personally, I expected this statement to have come from Isak when Liverpool, first of all, sent in a bid of £120 million and Newcastle United turned down that offer, that the door is not open for Alexander Isak to be sold. He should have released a statement to that effect if he had wanted to leave. But what do I know? It is between Alexander Isak and Newcastle United Football Club. But let's check the response Newcastle United actually gave to Alexander Isak. Check the press release from Newcastle United. Check this out from Fabrizio Romano. Breaking Newcastle statement in response to Alexander Isak. We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We were clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best player, but we also understand players have their own wishes, and we listen to their views as explained to Alex and his representative. We must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team, and our supporters in all decisions. And we have been clear that the condition of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates. Interesting. Just like what I was saying when I read through the statement of Alexander Isak. It is simple for you to have come to the public to allege something like this. You should have evidence in your hand. And Newcastle have debunked that there is no way, there is no official agreement between any official of the club and Alexander Isak that a transfer will happen this summer. Isak is contracted to the club, and they went on to still see Alexander Isak as part of the family, and they still opened the door for him that whenever he is ready to change his mind to be part of the family and to join the team, he is highly welcome. Now, on this situation, who is telling the truth and who is lying? Because I can't be the judge over this to say that Alexander Isak is wrong in his statement, nor Newcastle United is wrong neither. But for a fact, someone is lying somewhere. There is no truth somewhere. So we're going to see how this play out in the coming days. What do you make of all the latest transfer stories tonight? And what do you make in the situation between Alexander Isak and Newcastle United? Drop your comment down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on my channel, like, share, and so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first to see it. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you in my next video. Bye.